Thank God. Unknown was the second winner. Looking at Dredge, I didn't know where to even start with that thing. So I feel incredibly lucky that Unknown won. I'm also kind of sick, because why not? Now, for Unknown, I'm gonna do something a little different than I did with Springtrap. Okay, if you don't know what Unknown is, think of it as like a Lovecraftian monster of unknown origins that lives in darkness, consumes victims, then starts mimicking them. Long story short, I kind of always felt Unknown was kind of like what Michael Afton would look like once Innard started wearing him as a skin suit. Just not as horrific. Unknown's a good chance to bring up designs that trigger the uncanny valley in humans. That make you feel uncomfortable, make you feel tense. So I loaded in Nick. I think symmetry's on. Yeah. Nick here. And just to let everyone know, I did not model Nick. He comes with ZBrush as like a base model that you can work off of. But he is scaled to human proportions. And they're sitting at the same point. And Nick is going to help us kind of understand what is going on with the Unknown. Because I don't know if pictures are really going to help in this instance. I don't have my Wacom. My cat's laying on my stuff, so I have to endure with a mouse. So let's begin with his legs, or I should say his feet, which are very, very unpleasant. Okay, well, if you ever wanted to see the Unknown without a body, this is what he looks like with just a pair of legs. So, well, first off, let's mention the foot is very warped. Now, I believe this is the Achilles tendon, just sticking out really, really far. So the foot bone, the center has been arced up. 5 toes. They all look broken. This is also kind of why I imagine him as Michael. It's like things got shoved in and then just the skin warped. The Unknown sees humans, it doesn't understand humans, so it's literally just wearing a human suit. But it doesn't really know how to make it conform into a human form. Properly, anyway. So the heel, the ball of the foot, is slanted pretty bad. Let's get Nick to... First you can see the most obvious difference is the incredibly long curve of his foot, opposed to Nick's, which is more flat. The heel seems to be enlarged. The ball of the foot is angled really far. And then it looked like it scrunched up. Now this in design is also ideal for horror. You take something that's, say, a human, something we're familiar with, and then you twist it, you alter it. You give it enough human features to tell it's human-ish. but you twist it and manipulate it to a point where it starts giving you really uncanny vibes. Where it starts making you feel tense, it starts making you feel easy, and that's one of the big hallmarks of horror. It's taking something and warping it to where you can see things you're familiar with while also making it new and grotesque, and this is quite grotesque. This part of the foot almost reminds me of a Blighted Springtrap, because he had that metal bar underneath pushing it up. This is like the more severe version of that. Oh god, his toes. So, this mouth's gonna drive me crazy. So normally, in a human foot, your toes form like an arc. A very smooth, clean arc. Are there people who differ in this? Yes. Not this much. It almost looks like his toes were becoming a second set of hands. The big toe, except the pinky toe, which looks like it's almost fusing back into his foot. But that could possibly be from, yeah, the way his foot is arcing over here. Arching up. It could be pulling the bones to make the pinky toe smaller. Next, back over there. The calf, you can see the beginning of the calf muscle here and here. The tendon here, or the bone, it's hard to kind of tell. Its leg is so mutilated. Kind of hard to tell which leg I'm getting flipped on because the way it's twisted. Oh, that looks so painful. And when the Unknown runs, it does have a weird gating hobble. It also doesn't help that the Unknown can also mimic voices and things it's heard. So in DBD, if you ever hear it, it'll ask you something like, can you help me find my dog, or something like that. It's very creepy. So this is, I kind of looking at it from a distance, I always kind of thought its leg was twisted. Kind of like a Twizzler or like one of those spiral suckers. But I think that's not, yeah, it's not twisted skin, that's baggy, loose skin. So we see, oh, it looks so terrible. I think he has a heel. Yeah, his heel, I think, is this fold right here. Let's get underneath him. I have to look at anyone's crotch this time. Yeah, so I think this is his heel. That's like loose folded skin that's folded over onto the ball. Again, Unknown's more of a, I keep using Lovecraftian because it kind of is. It's kind of, I would also kind of argue Dredge is too. But despite having like a human body, it's not human. It, from my understanding, because I don't play Unknown all that much, it consumes a victim and then it takes on their appearance. So it's like wearing a human skin, and it kind of adds to it because it's like, it doesn't understand what a human foot should look like, so it doesn't fill out all the skin, leaving these big baggy pouches of flesh. More broken toes, and it's got this weird thing with the middle toe growing out really far. It almost looks like this foot is trying to go into like a digitigrade foot, and more like a dog or a cat than a human, which is I believe plantigrade, because that could almost be like the arc here, then the ball here. It's weird. You see all the loose skin folds from where it's not filling out its meat suit. the knee, which is surprisingly accurate for, let me rephrase that. It's surprisingly accurate to where it is on the leg. Position-wise, it's doing a 180. The whole leg is doing a 180. But with the thigh up here, and then the foreleg here, the knees right there. So it's accurate. There's a weird bend here. The stance is almost right. His leg is. We come down, knee, down, but it's twisted slightly. It's just twisted just slightly to throw off the perspective of the leg. So you can see through the unknown to where Nick is. The bottom of the leg is technically correct up to the knee, and then it starts going in the wrong direction. It should be coming further inside. Instead, it's angled towards the outer side of the body. Now, for the biggest and most obvious thing is his left leg is completely twisted around backwards. It's facing his back. There's his butt cheeks. I'm not sure where. If I had to take a guess, that it's probably right here. Probably right here. That's twisted, so he more or less, his hip, I don't know if broke is the right word because it's trying to imitate a human. I think it's a little confused. But it looks like the bone or the leg may have twisted here at the hip. So unlike Toxic Springtrap, who had floating hips, he took this leg bone and he just flipped it and did a 180 with it. So now his whole entire leg is backwards. This leg is all janked up, his right leg. I can try to align this to Nick's, but there's so many things wrong with the unknown, it's hard. Close enough. His calf is there, his knee's there. His thigh bone, the femur, is doing some crazy, wonky, flexible acrobatics. It's bending. The femur should be completely straight. This one, it's got a severe curve to it. It's definitely like a creature that saw a human but doesn't understand exactly what a human is supposed to do. Look like, walk, talk. Oh, it talks pretty well. It mimics humans pretty well. Again, this is why I say this is what I imagine Michael Afton looked like after Henry got into him. It didn't really understand humans, and so it kind of just wore him as a skin suit. So if we look at the torso, the back and torso, the first noticeable thing is, so he's got a very distended belly. Now it might be because his spine broke. His spine's doing some of its own acrobatics back here, bringing it back in. So, with their feet aligned, you can even see their shoulders align, the backs of their necks align. Everything else in here is not. The butt cheeks are too high. The pelvis is slanted. The stomach is distended. The spine. Now you can see where behavior got a little creative. So this is a normal human spine. It does an S shape. Unknown almost looks like a root symbol. Just in real sharp out. But you can tell what behavior did with the back. So they took this curve of the back. I don't know if I can do this without my pen and tablet, but my cat's still over there laying on everything. They took this and they extended it out extended this out. And then gave it the second mouth on the back by the using the extended part at the back. Which again, this goes back into designing something that is very disturbing and very something that's hitting that uncanny valley really hard. Because you can see that same curves. They just altered it enough to make it disturbing. To add to the alters that they made his pelvis come further up. They made his pelvis slant. More like probably about here. And then they distended the belly. Added more folds. And again, you can see the loose skin folds. Now, anyone who's lost a lot of weight too, this is a pretty common fold. You see the loose skin folds here, here, the natural curve back here. The belly button, all the curves. And now, also to add to it, they gave the Unknown a very pale color. It's hard to kind of see under there, but you can see it coming through. And then on top of that paleness, they added just a little bit or flesh tone. And then you have all the veins and arteries that you can see through the skin. The blood stains, not the most fashionable of DBD's killers. Let's get to the back. You see more of these folds. And his shoulders are tilting. There's a little bit of an angle. And then of course the left shoulder is much bigger and the right shoulder is kind of sagging. Also gets that William Birkin feel. Just doesn't have an eyeball. Then we have the shirt. Interesting, the bloody handprint on the shirt from victims or the victim who owned this body. You can see where the it tried to button up the shirt. The grotesque malformed body is kind of too big for the shirt, so it doesn't fit right. You see where it's tearing in the back where the mouth is. Now I haven't played against Unknown too much, and certainly haven't seen it from the back because I try to stay away from them. But I don't know if you can see this in game or if it's just for like the Mori. So if somebody who's an Unknown player knows, let me know. The teeth are interesting on his back. So the outer teeth are sharp, almost like shark teeth. But then the ones on the inside are almost like molars, like the grinding teeth. It's interesting. And of course you can see all the grooves for the teeth are set. Yeah, look at how much of a slant that is. It's almost like his right shoulder completely collapsed. Also, that could... I think that's a vertebrae. The beginning of vertebrae here. And then they just disappeared for the mouth. Okay, so... his arms are screwed up too. Not surprising. This thing clearly doesn't know anything about humans other than we have 5 fingers and 5 toes. Now, this again goes back to the design. Like his legs, the Unknown's arms are extended. and elongated, which also adds to that feeling of unease. Because this is a basic pose. You can see from up here, compared to Nick, the basic T pose is still set. His arms are in the correct position. His arms are not correct, which is why if you look at it, you might be feeling a little tense. So this is how horror design is kind of best used if you don't want like the whole blood, guts, body horror thing. Unknown kind of fits into a little bit of body horror because it's a skin suit. But you can see how Behavior did this. This is like one of the more relaxed T poses. You can see they put Unknown in this same pose. You can look at it. His arms are going a little bit further down because I think they have to. But they took the human form and they warped it and manipulated it. They elongated the limbs. They twisted the limbs. And then they added stuff, small things here and there to kind of itch that uneasiness. So let's start. I guess it doesn't matter. His right arm will do. So if we look, the shoulders line up one way. They clearly don't this way. So first, let's not to get the obvious out. The upper arm bone is broken, or it would be broken in a normal person. It's at there in a weird angle and it's coming down backwards. Now he might be forced kind of into this pose. His body's shaped, meaning his arms might be forced backwards like this to help him keep balance because of the big distended stomach in front. He's very skinny arms. The elbow sticks out way too far. You can see a little bit of muscle sticking out here. You can see the muscle here. It's kind of hard to also tell because the muscle seems to kind of begin and end in weird places. You can see this one attached to the elbow coming down, but then it seems to disappear about right here instead of going all the way down. And at the same time, you have these weird skin folds again, where it's like the skin's too loose. Especially right here. Because unlike Toxic Springtrap, who had tumors and gross, this looks like it's a shirt that's way too big. So it's wrinkling and folding all the way up to the forearms, the elbows. Now he's got very, very elongated hands, along with very elongated forearms. So you can see Nick's wrist starts here. I should have bumped up Nick's poly count. It starts about here. Normal hand. The Unknown's starts way back here. This, I believe, is the metacarpals. And his hand broke. Right here. Because his wrist is up here. Then the bone is broke here. He's got this weird L shape to his hands. And they're roughly twice as long as a human hand should be. You see the giant veins in his hand. Now, Behavior gave him very gnarled hands too. Very withered, gnarled hands. 5 fingers, and the fingers are almost correct. Almost. Other than being elongated, they seem to be curving. Got a curve here, a break here, a break here. This one's straight. This one... Oh, that's not right either. I was gonna say his pointer finger is almost right. But it slopes down. huge knuckle and then it comes down. Very withered hand. The palm, you can see all the detail of like all the palm lines in his hand. So they have a wonderful design team. His other hand is worse for wear, or his other arm. It does the same thing. It's bent back from the larger shoulder, it comes far back. Elbow pops out a little too far. Now this side's forearm is messed up something. Yeah, you can see it right here. Where the bicep's up here, the forearm is here, and then right around the general area of where the wrist of a normal hand should be, it breaks. It turns into this big, or it turns into this loose skin appendage where it's just nothing, looks like there's nothing there. See, should have been about where the wrist was. And then it just kept growing all the loose skin, and it kind of looks, it's really hard to tell because it looks like that's such a huge fold of just loose skin, where it looks like the arm bowed up in a really weird position. But again, it's hard to tell if it's like a broken arm or if it's just there's so much loose skin there. Oh, it's so weird. It's like his left arm's definitely the worst of the two. Yeah, you can see where it curved, like that huge curve right here, where the wrist should have been, and then big baggy tube of loose skin down to a hand. I think the Unknown got really confused on what a left arm should look like. And of course the hand, you see the giant veins. The fingers are just like the other hand, very withered, very wrinkly, very broken. You can see a break here, the break here. I think two breaks. The pinky fingers, he's got the pinky fingers down. What a mess. Okay, we'll do him without hair for right now. Then we got the Twizzler neck. I don't even know what's going on with this thing. Got 4 holes in its neck. That might be part of the lore, I don't know. I'm not too familiar with Unknown. Probably more with Dredge than on. But you can see the shoulders, and it looks like it's just one big loose piece of flesh around its neck. Oh, look at all these folds. There's one right here, a big fold right here, a big fold here, a big fold here, one here, one here, one down here, and on top of that it extended neck. So again, I hate when behavior does this, it gives me the creeps. So if you look at their necks, ignoring the fact of Unknown's like crushed in skull, again, technically the neck is in the right position. The shoulders and the necks come up. His neck is very fat and folded. You can definitely see it right here where there's just loose skin like hanging off the side of his neck. And his neck is bent in such an unnatural way, which is just about everything about the Unknown. It looks like his neck snapped in a V shape or a U shape. And then you got all this loose skin on the back, and then you can see just the folds of loose skin on his face from the back. He's got the ears down. The continuous wide grin. It looks like all of his face muscles kind of liquefied, and he's got no chin, which it looks like when I even saw it against Nick. Yeah, his chin, this probably right here. This right here was probably the chin, or was supposed to be the chin. And I guess when Unknown slipped into this skin suit, he forgot humans have chins. Let's see. The face is lopsided. No chin. Loose skin here, loose skin here. The ears are almost correct. This one's forming into a hole, like it's starting to lose form. This one on the other side is decent. It's almost correct. Large forehead. The forehead over here is swelling out. No eyes. The nose looks broken and it's upturned. Looks like the end of his nose is missing, just leaving the nostrils, all the veins. So yeah, I'm gonna guess the blood under his mouth is where he's consumed the victims. Stop grinning. Now the most interesting part is that he has no skull, or it's severely caved in. So to reference, so he's got a very flat face too. It's almost like his skull deflated. Trying to get their heads lined up. It's gonna be hard. See, do it nose to nose. So pulling Nick's head back, you can see how much of the Unknown skull is not there. His face is flat, his skull is sagging, missing. All this loose skin, which again, I don't really know the Unknown's lore that much, but I almost want to say this is a decoy, and that's really the Unknown back here. Oh yeah, the tentacles. These are the tentacles that come out of his back during the Mori, and I think these are the tentacles that you see when you use his power. I want to say they come out of his neck where those holes are, but I'm not sure. But yeah, that's the Unknown. It's kind of hard to really do an anatomy study over something that's technically got human form, but it's mostly sagging skin. You see where they deformed his face and the head, neck, the back. Okay, well that's the Unknown, or it's about as best as I can do with the Unknown. Dredge will be next, and then I will do a spring trap video over scrap trap, trying to because there's not much to look at with scrap trap. Try to figure out what maybe Scott was going for in that video.